Look, personally, I do not think it's a good thing. I do not think it's healthy for our democracy to have had several changes of Prime Minister without voters having a say. And I think it's caused a lot of disillusionment, and of course it makes it very difficult for the new PM to have authority over their party for a start, because they've not led their party to that election victory. It's clear to me that the only way that Boris Johnson and Liz Truss would have survived as PM is if they'd called snap elections, tried to lead their party to another election victory. That was the only way I think they had of maintaining or regaining authority. And what I would point out is those who currently, and we've seen quite a few Conservative MPs do this, go on TV and say, well, the public have no desire for a general election. Well, I'm sorry to say they are badly out of touch. In fact, every poll I've seen over the last month or so shows that a majority of the country does actually want to have a say on what's gone on. And I don't think it's a good look. I mean, I know people say, well, Sunak should sort of long it out for as long as possible, a couple more years. I just don't think it's a good look for a PM to try and sort of avoid and run away from an election for as long as possible. That doesn't scream leadership to me. Now, as I said, every poll I've seen recently shows the majority of the country, including many Conservative voters, do want an election. This is the latest one from Redfield and Wilton, asking voters, now that the Conservative Party has changed its leader, should there be a general election in the UK? So you see 64% of the country, so basically 2/3 of the country at this point, is in favour of that, and fewer than a quarter of voters are actually against it, including, and this is really interesting, isn't it? Because you'd obviously expect, you see the overwhelming majority of Labour voters there want an election. But also in this poll, more Conservative voters want an election than don't, 50% to 40%. A separate question there, should a general election be required whenever the governing party changes its leader and therefore changes the PM? You see 62% of the country agree with that, again including 50% of Conservative voters versus 40 and 77% of Labour voters. And I think that is absolutely right and reasonable. So it's interesting to see that clear public desire. And by the way, there's been some people getting carried away that it's going to be some sort of Labour landslide. I think what's more likely is if you do see Keir Starmer as Prime Minister, it will be through a deal propped up by the likes of the Lib Dems, Greens, SNP. Just look at this poll to see how quickly things can change in terms of some of the massive Labour leads we've seen. Because Opinion this weekend showing Labour's lead down from 27 points to 16 points. I think that's just over the course of 1 week. So 16 points is obviously still a big lead, but down from 27 to 16. And on top of that, I don't think Keir Starmer's exactly smashing it. I mean, look at this one here. You see Rishi Sunak as Conservative leader already taking a 4-point lead over Starmer in that best PM question, 31 to 27. But clearly now a big public desire for people to have their say in a general election. Let me know, would you like to see an election called sooner rather than later? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below, guys. And of course, as ever, cheers for watching.